crafty friends, welcome back to a process video. This is my first 12 by 12 process video and I'm so excited for this. I really went back and forth with recording this. I'm like, I don't know if my 12 by 12 skills are like up there, if they're like YouTube strong, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and I actually really had a lot of fun filming this. So I'm working on my wedding album. If you've been here for any amount of time, all I do is talk about the fact that I just got married. And so I got married on January 6th, and I am finally working on our wedding album. We got our wedding photos, and our photographers were amazing. And so I've been, picking and choosing which ones I want to scrap. I'm making a 12 by 12 album, and I'm making an 8 by 8 album, and I'm going to be scrapbooking wedding pictures forever because there's 600 of them. And so I have infinite material. So for this page, I am working with the new kit, the new collection from Coco Vanilla. It's called More Than Words, and it is, by God, one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Like, I am a sucker for pastel colors, and I'm a sucker for warm tones, and this kit literally has everything. Like, it just speaks to me. So you saw me sorting through all the papers. If you haven't seen this kit yet, this collection, please go take a look at it. It's stunning. It's literally just beautiful. So I chose a few pattern papers. Not working on white. I know it's very strange for me, but so I chose a pattern paper and I cut it on the A side and the B side, and I'm layering those two papers horizontally over my background paper. The background paper is white with black polka dots, and then the other papers are a white floral and a pink stripe. And I hunted for something else because I wanted to put another layer between those two colors, and then I remembered that the back of the black and white polka dot, the A side, is a stripe. So I just trimmed off a little bit. I grabbed that piece that was like the gray and yellow stripe, and I layered them. And through the magic of editing, you do not have to watch me glue all these papers down together because it was not very easy, because my background paper was no longer 12 inches, so I had to do a couple like tricks. But eventually I got my papers layered down, and I ruffled up the edges, and this is what it looks like now. So now we're going to keep going with the layout and mess around with a few things, take a few peeks, and then get back to work. So right about here, I'm starting to think about what I want to do with my photo and how I want to layer it, and everything else that I want to do. I grabbed just about everything from this collection. So I grabbed the 6x6 paper pad. There was 2 different chipboard sheets. There was a collection kit which had 2 of the 18 papers, 2 each of 9 designs. Sorry, the words are getting stuck in my mouth. And then I got the ephemera and the vellum ephemera pieces. So I had a lot to work with. I picked up a lot of stuff. Now Coco Vanilla is a little bit more expensive for me because I'm an American and it's an Australian brand, so it's pretty pricey. But I thought it was worth it. So I picked up a lot because I knew I wanted it for my wedding album. So right about here, we're layering photos. I used some tissue paper. This is from Felicity Jane, I want to say. I think those are the Felicity Jane tissue papers. And I see a lot of scrapbookers save tissue paper, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I saved the tissue paper and backed my photo with it. So after that, I layered up a few different of the 6x6 pieces of paper and just let it go. So I sorted through it. I wanted 2 colorful pieces, and then I wanted 1 neutral piece, just to make sure that it all kind of like matched up, and that there weren't too many colors happening. So I flipped through the 6x6 paper pad a few times just to pick and choose what I want to use. I end up using that colorful polka dot with the pastels, and then I think I use a gray chevron and this paper that has the watercolory flower look on it. And so I chop them up. When it comes to layering my photos, it's not an exact science for me. I kind of just pick and choose what I like. So I do a full photo mat first, and then I just mess around with putting things down and seeing how I like it. I like to have things with like corners and have things like not completely cover the background, and that's pretty much my thought process for layering photos. So I do a lot of guess and check when it comes to layering my photos. So like you saw me do that with the gray paper, where I kind of put it down and then eyeballed it and then decided if I liked it and then cut it up and did a little bit more. And so that's where we are. So the photos will be pretty much completely matted in the next few seconds, and then we'll keep going from there. So I'm really psyched to be working on my wedding album. I had all these supplies, and the album we picked out is a shiny gold thing. And I'm really, really happy with the choice we made for the album. I'm really excited for it to see how it looks and how it will come out, because I'm using a few different collections. Everything is kind of like romantic and pastel-y. Like I'm using the Simple Stories romance line, and I picked up some stuff from the Pebbles Valentine's Day collection. And everything is kind of going to be like it won't all go 100% because they're not exactly the same line, but everything should be close enough that it'll look cohesive at the end. And I have a bunch of pictures of, I have like family portraits that I'm going to scrap, and I have bridal party photos, and then I have like just photos of us dancing, the cake cutting and everything else. So it's going to be really awesome. I don't know if I'll film every process video because that's a lot, but let's get back to what I'm doing now. So you saw me playing with chipboard. I pulled the chipboard out so you can see it. Like I said, I got two different sheets of chipboard. One was like gray chipboard titles, and then one was chipboard that matched the the collection colors. And so here I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for my title. What I wanted to do, but it didn't cooperate, was punch out the title that I wanted to use. So I could kind of like estimate where I wanted to put it. Sometimes with chipboard you can like pop it out and it pops out with the backing, and you can kind of mess around with it, but this didn't really want to do that. So I decided I wanted to use the Wonderful title, the Wonderful as my title, and I was going to use the So from the gray sheet. So now I'm playing around with ephemera. The ephemera in this collection is so beautiful. I am a sucker for florals, like literally a sucker. Like makes me the happiest person in the world, and there are so many flowers. Like I literally, when I opened it, I was just like, oh my god, Zoe designed this just for me. Like she knew that I was her target audience, and so she just threw every floral possible. So now I'm just kind of layering flowers and embellishments around my photo. When it comes to the way I layer, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. I kind of just put things down, and if they look good, they stay, and if they don't, I move them and I put them somewhere else. So I grab a few different florals. I grab that gray tag piece. I pick up the accessory sheet that comes with the papers and try to decide if I want to use some stickers. And then I remembered I had the vellum, and I was like, yes, vellum. I love vellum. I think vellum is great for adding texture, and having printed vellum is like the best. So now I'm messing around with adding the vellum. I like that it's a little transparent, but it's printed, so you can still see the detail in it. And so I add two pieces of vellum, of the vellum ephemera, to like either side of my photo to try to balance it. I'm not very good with like making sure my layouts are balanced and sticking to the rule of thirds and all those design principles. I kind of just eyeball it, and if I like it, it gets glued down, and if I don't, then it gets moved. And sometimes I finish a layout and I'm like, that looks really good. And then other times I finish a layout and I'm like, I probably should have moved that. But I do it for the creative process more than I do it to have like a perfect page when everything's done. So once I finish putting all my flowers where I think I'm going to do them, I grab my fine line bottle and I kind of glue everything down. Normally I take a picture of everything before I start sticking things down, just in case things don't go where they're supposed to. But this was pretty easy because everything was kind of overlapping. So I just grabbed my fine line bottle and started putting glue at the edges of the flowers and of the tags where they're supposed to go, so that they stick to the photo and I get this one big photo embellishment complex. With the vellum pieces, I tried to avoid putting a ton of glue down. I just put like a little bit of glue in the center. That way they were still kind of like floating, and I could ruffle up the edges. Now, this is one thing I love for 12 by 12s is foam. So I grabbed some craft foam, chop up the craft foam, and arrange it so that it fits down in all the bits and pieces, which took some time because I had the flowers and all the little pieces hanging off the flowers. So I cut up the craft foam and stick it down, and then I flip it over, and the whole thing goes down on my layout. So after fiddling with my foam and some tape and some glue and everything else, I finally get the whole thing stuck down to the background, and I really, really like the way it looks. I like the way it's placed. I think it's centered, but like not like it's kind of skewed to the right, which is typically where I set up my photos and my layouts. I'm a creature of habit. I always go there. I had a little bit of an issue with one of the pieces of foam under the flower. I think when I flipped it, it wasn't 100% dry, so it moved a little, but that's nothing a little TLC couldn't fix. So once it's flipped, now I can work on finishing my title. So I grab that big wonderful chipboard and I stick it down. This is part of the reason why I wanted to like have it with the backing so I could do this without it being adhesive. But I figure it out and I get it situated. And here I did something a little silly. I put the D under the photo. In a second you'll see that that does not really work for me. So anyways, I grabbed the so for the rest of my title, and now this one I was able to pop up with the backing still on it, so I get to mess around and see where I put it. And I mess around with putting it to the left of the title of the wonderful, but I decided it looks better right on top of it, kind of overlapping our photo. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the photos. So Josh and I had sparklers at our wedding, and it was minus 15 degrees the night we got married. And so we didn't buy a lot of sparklers because I knew I wouldn't be able to convince enough people to go outside. But a few of our really close friends and his family, braved the cold outside for us. We went out into the gazebo. We were literally outside for 15, I'm lying, maybe 10 minutes. We lit the sparklers. Everyone shivered, but they were all smiling, and we got so many beautiful pictures in the gazebo, and this is my favorite. It was after I had changed my dress, and I loved it so much. And so that was, of course, this is where I decided to start my scrapbooking, and this is probably my favorite picture of the whole night. So my title's down, and I grab a gray chipboard heart just to like tie in the gray so underneath the wonderful, kind of like tying everything and making everything cohesive. I grab a few more chipboard pieces. I think I use a butterfly. Oh, first I put down some tiny word stickers. These came on the accessory sheet that come with the collection kit, and they say things like my happiness and documented this day. And I wish I had my layout right in front of me so I could see exactly what they say, but they pretty much say things like my happiness and this day, and I forget what the third sentiment is. Now I grab some chipboard, I put down a chipboard butterfly, and I put down a heart on the right and left side, just to put a little bit more chipboard down, since that's what my title is. And I think that is the last thing I do. So thanks for hanging out with me on this long rambly voiceover, and there'll be more videos for you to watch after the break. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day, crafty friends. Looking forward to seeing you around.